Yankees' hot-hitting offense looks to continue their home run barrage. This time against division rival Tampa Bay. While in Milwaukee, Brewers can hit long balls too.
Hey, get up! Get out of here and gone for a fielder!
The first-place Brew Crew looks to continue their dominance over the upstart Pittsburgh Pirates. And don't look now, but the defending AL champion Texas Rangers are in a pennant race. Today in Oakland, can the A's slow down the Rangers' lead in the West? We've got all the action, all the fun, right now on Fox Saturday Baseball.
Welcome to the Gillette Fusion Pro Glide pregame show on Fox. Welcome to Yankee Stadium. We are inside the Great Hall where some of the pinstriped legends are there to greet the fans upon their arrival. And this afternoon, the face of the franchise gets his chance to shine. Hi, everybody, and welcome to another live edition of Fox Saturday Baseball. In just a few moments, we'll get you out to one of three great games, either in Milwaukee, Oakland, or right here in New York City. But first, let's start out the show with a very special day for the Yankee captain, number 2, Derek Jeter. Just a few moments ago, the newest member of the 3,000 Hit Club was actually honored in a very special on-field ceremony. The 5-time world champion achieved the milestone last month against these same Rays. Now, his family was on hand. They actually received a nice gift as well. And then his teammates presented him with a special sculpture. Then Jeter's longtime teammate, Mariano Rivera, closed the show in style.
Well, first of all, I would say thank God for giving me the opportunity to play with a tremendous player like Derek, and being in this organization and being able to see every one of them. G, I love you, and continue, man. God bless you, and God bless your family too. I love you. Take care.
A touch of class to honor the first Yankee to ever get 3,000 hits. And for much more in the baseball world, we welcome in the senior writer from FoxSports.com, Ken Rosenthal. And Ken, let's start with the wild world of Big Z, Carlos Zambrano. Not sure if everybody saw this, what happened last night in Atlanta, but Zambrano gave up 5 home runs to the Atlanta Braves. How did he respond? By throwing back-to-back inside pitchers to Chipper Jones. He then got ejected from the game, went into the clubhouse, cleaned out his locker, and reportedly told the team he was retiring. So, Ken, is he calling it quits?
He is not calling it quits, Chris, but this situation is turning ugly. Cubs GM Jim Hendry just spoke with reporters and said, hey, Zambrano's actions, they were intolerable. The Cubs placed Zambrano on the disqualified list without pay, but I am told the union will challenge this Monday morning by filing a grievance saying that the penalty is excessive.
All right, let's be honest here. Big Z's not a first-time offender. Last year, he got into a dugout scrape with Derek Lee. Then he of course, had some psychological evaluations. I mean, they got to have, throw up their hands in the air. What's going on with it?
No, that was the strongest language that Hendry has used, the word intolerable. But if the Cubs don't want Big Z, it's very simple. They can release him and pay him the rest of his contract, which is about $22-23 million left.
All right, so he might be going. One guy that is coming back to the New York Yankees, Alex Rodriguez. He's on a rehab assignment after knee surgery. How's he doing?
He's doing great. Home run on the first pitch he saw last night, but he was supposed to play third base today. Instead, he told the Yankees he would prefer to DH one more day. At some point, he's going to need to get back in the field, but they still expect to activate him late next week. One other guy to talk about on the rehab trail, Steven Strasburg. 96 to 98 miles per hour last night on his second rehab start. He also touched 99, and after throwing 3 innings through 17 more pitches in the bullpen, we could see him in September.
How many starts do you think he'll get with the Nats at the big league level?
Well, there's an innings limit on him, and they're going to be going no further than 50 innings from when he started. That includes simulated games, rehab starts, everything else. But at some point, I would expect they would put him on a mound just to get him a taste of the major league life again.
Yeah. All right, Ken Rosenthal, thanks very much. Also coming up today, we've got highlights. Jared Weaver back in action for the Angels. But coming up next, we'll get you out to your game. Most of you will see the AL East battle between the Rays and Yankees. Others will see the NL Central leaders, the Brewers, taking on the Pirates. The rest of you get the A's and Rangers from Oakland. Out to your game next on Fox.
Of a three-game weekend series between these American League East rivals, the Yankees and the Rays. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Kenny Albert. Welcome to Fox Saturday Baseball. The Rays have won 5 in a row. They trail the Yankees by 7.5 games in the wild card race. Glide. Baseballs were flying out of Yankee Stadium last night. The Tampa Bay Rays with 5 solo home runs off CC Sabathia. Today, the second of a 3-game weekend series between these American League East rivals, the Yankees and the Rays. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Kenny Albert. Welcome to Fox Saturday Baseball. The Rays have won 5 in a row. They trail the Yankees by 7.5 games in the wild card race. Manager Joe Maddon says we must make up 1 game per week. As I welcome in my partner, Tim McCarver. Tim, on the other side, Yankees hoping to solve a couple of questions real soon.
Well, if the postseason started tomorrow and the Yankees are in it, they have 2 problems. One is a designated hitter against right-handed pitching. The other is they have 6 starters right now. They have to pair that to 4 for the postseason. Phil Hughes on the mound today. If he expects to be one of those, then he's got to pitch very well every time out for the rest of the season.
It's Phil Hughes and Jeremy Hellickson. Jorge Posada returns to the Yankee lineup for the first time in a week. Can the Yankees bounce back, or will the Rays make it 2 in a row in New York? Yankees and Rays next, right here on Fox. On an 82-degree afternoon as we get set for the second of this 3-game series between the Yankees and the Rays. They have split 10 games so far this season. Rays come in with a record of 64-54, a season-high 10 games above the 500 mark. Joe Maddon's batting order today brought to you by Taco Bell. Think outside the box. The left fielder Desmond Jennings leads off, followed by former Yankee Johnny Damon. Evan Longoria hits third. Ben Zobrist in the cleanup spot. Then Casey Kochman. B.J. Upton hits sixth. Bottom of the order, Matt Joyce, Sean Rodriguez, and Robinson Chirinos. The opening pitch brought to you by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. Desmond Jennings steps in to face 25-year-old right-hander Phil Hughes, making only his 9th start of the season. Spent time on the 60-day disabled list. Pitched out of the bullpen on Sunday up in Boston. Phil Hughes has not won here at Yankee Stadium since Game 3 of the American League Division Series against Minnesota last October. So a huge start for Hughes against the Rays this afternoon, and the first pitch to Desmond Jennings is a called strike. 0-1. Tim, a look at the sprint pitcher profile for Hughes.
Well, because it's only 8 starts for the year, it's very, very simple, and it all boils down to this. Is he strong enough to pitch in the rotation during the postseason? And that's really it. So the radar gun, which normally is not a factor, is certainly a factor today. If he can maintain 93, 94 miles an hour through 5 or 6 innings, that'd be a good thing.
Desmond Jennings, deep right field. Swisher on the run, and he makes the catch on the warning track for out number 1. On this day after the Tampa Bay Rays hit 5 solo home runs off CC Sabathia last night, Jennings flies out to the warning track in right field.
Yeah, and at the same time, last night, about 1,500 miles to the south, there were 5 home runs hit against Carlos Zambrano, the Chicago Cubs. Kenny and Chris talked about it in our pregame.
Johnny Damon takes a called strike. Zambrano then ejected after a couple of inside pitches to Chipper Jones. Here's the 0-1 to Damon. Fielded by Jeter. And the throw is off the mark, off the glove of Teixeira, so Damon safe at first.
A lot happened in the pregame about Derek Jeter's 3,000 hits against the Tampa Bay Rays, and David Price a home run on 3,000. But a careless play by Jeter with 1 out here in the first inning.
Jeter committing his 8th error.
You can almost see it in his face, shaking his head and those eyes shut. He's disgusted with himself.
So Damon on at first as Evan Longoria steps in. Longoria, like Damon, homered last night. Longoria working on a 9-game hitting streak. Took Sabathia deep last night for his 100th Major League home run.
He's been hot in that home run department. 7 home runs now in the last 22 games for Evan Longoria.
Longoria takes strike 2. He became the 4th player in Rays history to reach 100 home runs in a Tampa Bay uniform, joining Carlos Pena, Aubrey Huff, and Carl Crawford. The 0-2 to Longoria. Jeter to second. And the Yankees turn the 6-4-3. So redemption for Jeter after committing the early error. He will bat second when we return against Jeremy Hellickson. Joe Girardi's Yanks with a record of 71-46. Today's batting order brought to you by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. Brett Gardner will lead off, followed by Derek Jeter. Curtis Granderson hits third. Mark Teixeira in the cleanup spot. Then Robinson Cano. Nick Swisher bats sixth. Eric Chavez at third base today will bat seventh. Jorge Posada, the designated hitter, makes his first start since last Saturday. And the catcher Russell Martin will bat ninth as the Yankees face 24-year-old rookie right-hander Jeremy Hellickson. Comes in with a record of 10-7 and the ninth best earned run average in the entire American League. Hellickson 2-0 in 3 lifetime appearances, including 1 start against the Yankees.
Jeremy Hellickson, 24 years old. Well, his dad, Steve, is here at Yankee Stadium. First time at either of the Yankee stadiums in his life. He turns 50 years old today, and what a thrill it must be to see his son going against the team that won the World Championship on both properties 27 times. Fabulous changeup for Hellickson. Trouble with the running game. That's really the only thing that dents his armor.
Both Steve, and there he is, Steve and his son Jeremy, big Yankee fans. At least Jeremy was prior to getting drafted by the Rays. As Brett Gardner leads off for the Yankees. Steve Hellickson, a forklift operator in Des Moines, Iowa. Watching his son Jeremy pitch against the Yankees on his 50th birthday.
That's great. What a great story.
Gardner hit by the second pitch of the afternoon from Hellickson, so Brett Gardner heads down to first.
That looked like a cut fastball that gets in on the uniform, maybe. No, the left forearm, Brett Gardner.
Gardner with 36 steals, second in the American League. Not only were Steve and Jeremy Hellickson Yankee fans, but Jeremy Hellickson's dog is named Jeter.
How about that?
The real Jeter, Derek, 1 for 6 lifetime against Hellickson. Hellickson was scheduled to start for Tampa Bay on July 8th, the Friday night, the day before Jeter went 5 for 5 against the Rays, including his 3,000th hit. So with 2,998, the Friday night game last month was rained out, and the Rays skipped over Hellickson. David Price would start the game on Saturday. And in the third inning, career hit number 3,000. 2 seasons ago, Jeter tied Lou Gehrig's franchise hit record against Jeff Neiman of the Rays.
Well, Derek Jeter has shown Yankee fans he's the real thing for 16 years, and Jeremy Hellickson is just starting to show the Rays fans that he's the real thing. He was 16-3 last year combined, 12-3 in AAA, 4 and nothing the big league level, and that, as we said in the scouting report, is what he's working on, the running game, and that's a good guy against whom to do it. Brett Gardner, 36 steals on the year.
One thing to keep in mind, Hellickson's battery mate Robinson Chirinos has thrown out only 2 of 23 base stealers this season.
Not nearly as good as their other catcher, Kelly Shopik.
Chirinos fires down to first, and Gardner gets back in. A week ago, last Saturday in a game against Oakland with Chirinos behind the plate, the A's stole 7 bases. They went 7 for 7. Only Coco Crisp of Oakland has more steals in the American League than Brett Gardner this season. Now the 2-0 to Jeter, who, as Tim alluded to, and you heard from Chris and Ken on the pregame, Derek Jeter honored prior to the game about 20 minutes ago. He presented his batting gloves and helmet used on Saturday, July 9th to the Baseball Hall of Fame. Now with 3,034 career base hits. 23rd place all time. 3-1.
You might think, well, if Hellickson is having a tough time holding runners on and your catcher has a tough time throwing, why hasn't he tried to run? You don't try to run until the pitcher shows that he can throw strikes. He may run here, but I don't think it's a running situation. 3-2, yes. 3-1, no.
Gardner goes, and Jeter fouls it off to the right side.
See, by sending a runner on 3-1, the hitter may swing at a pitch that's off the plate to protect the runner. That pitch was inside. And I think if Joe Girardi had that to do over again, he'd think twice about it. This fastball is inside to Jeter. It's fouled off the other way, but Jeter protecting the runner. If he has the take, perhaps he takes it, and you have runners on at first and second, nobody out.
But instead, a full count with Curtis Granderson waiting on deck, and Hellickson once again throws over to first.
Well, that was close. Gardner diving to the outside corner of the bag.
And this time he is out.
And you can't do that. Brett Gardner still in the learning phase, but with the count 3-2, you don't work. As Joe Girardi is out to tuck, he was almost nailed on the throw before that, and this one had him. Good quick tag by Casey Kochman. You just cannot be picked off in that situation. It's 3-2. It's not imperative you get a good jump. It's up to the hitter to put the ball in play. It's like a hit and run play. And you hear it time and time again. So a bad base running blunder by Brett Gardner.
The fifth time is the charm for Jeremy Hellickson. Threw over 5 times to first base during this at bat. And now with the bases empty, payoff pitch to Jeter. Center field moving to his right to make the catch is Upton. 2 away.
I'll tell you, Kenny, the way I look at that, instead of having runners on at first and second, nobody out, you have 2 outs and nobody on. That 3-1 pitch, if Jeter's not swinging, Gardner's running, the pitch is inside. If he's not running, Jeter, pretty good chance that he's going to take that pitch. The Yankees could have a big inning, and now it's thwarted by that pickoff play.
So instead, 2 outs, bases empty for Curtis Granderson, having an MVP type season for the Yankees. 32 home runs, 1 off the major league lead. Leads all of baseball with 93 runs batted in. And he leads all of baseball by a wide margin in runs scored. Fastball in for strike 1. Granderson on the cusp of becoming the 4th Yankee center fielder to hit 30 home runs and drive in 100 runs. Joe DiMaggio did it 7 times. Mickey Mantle 3 times. Bernie Williams once.
Just part of Yankee royalty. And now everybody is shifted to the right side. So the shift employed with the count, no balls and 2 strikes. Very unusual. But Madden-like.
Yes.
He loves to play with hitters' minds. Getting to the 0-2 count, the infield was straight up. And now with 2 strikes, 3 infielders on the right side.
Hellickson missing inside. Now 2-2. Two outs, bottom of the first inning here at Yankee Stadium. 2-2 to Granderson, fouls it off to the left side. Brett Gardner led off the inning for the Yankees, was hit by a pitch. But on the 5th throw over to first, he was picked off by Hellickson. Derek Jeter flied out to the center fielder Upton. And now the 2-2 to Granderson. He strikes out to end the inning. With Dad Steve in the stands, just turned 50. No score in New York. Ken Rosenthal, Chris Rose on hand. Cast of thousands as we move to the second inning. Yankees and Rays scoreless. Middle of the order for Tampa Bay. Ben Zobrist will lead off against Phil Hughes, who threw 8 pitches to him in the first inning. All 8 were strikes. Yanni Damon reached on a Derek Jeter error, but was erased when Evan Longoria grounded into a double play. Zobrist leading the league in doubles. He's second in the American League in extra base hits. An all-star back in 2009. And that is the first ball thrown by Hughes today on his 10th pitch.
Yeah, the control of Phil Hughes has never been the problem. It's, once again, his arm strength.
Joe Girardi felt his last start was his best, and there's pitching coach Larry Rothschild. Hughes' last start was back on August 2nd in Chicago against the White Sox 11 days ago. He did not allow a run in 6 innings. As Zobrist grounds out to the second baseman Cano for out number 1.
And we talked to Larry Rothschild, the Yankees pitching coach, before the game, and he said more than any other day, more than any other pitcher, he will be concerned about the radar gun today and how the ball ignites out of the hand, right hand of Phil Hughes. Even on foul balls, you can tell how a pitcher is throwing. If, for instance, a hitter is fouling a lot of balls off the other way, then that's a good sign for a pitcher. Like that.
Casey Kotzman at the plate. What a season.
Oh, man.
Kotzman with the Mariners last year with a batting average of .217. On August 13th, 2011, he is second in the American League at .339.
Remarkable.
Kotzman with 4 home runs his last 10 games, including his 8th of the season last night. Kotzman went around. First strikeout of the game for Hughes. Time now for a DirecTV game break. We send it downstairs to Chris Rose. Chris?
Yeah, guys, Jared Weaver back after a 6-game suspension for throwing over the head of Detroit's Alex Avila. Today, he was ducking a lot. Edwin Encarnacion with a 2-run shot in the first. And then a grand slam by Adam Lind, his 20th homer of the year, 11-2 the final. Remember to see every baseball game the most in HD. It's 1-800-DIRECTV. Guys, Weaver was tagged for a career-tying 8 runs. He gave up 8 runs in 6 July starts this year.
Wow. Thanks, Chris. What's going on? Sabathia allows 5 last night. Zambrano 5. Weaver tagged today.
And this being the year of the pitcher.
At least up until this week.
Right.
The 0-2 to B.J. Upton. And a base hit into the gap in right center. Upton heading for second. And the throw is not in time. A 2-out double for Upton, his 15th 2-base hit of the season.
5 years ago, in his first year in the major leagues, B.J. Upton hit 300. He's had declining averages over the last 5 years. And the Rays have continued to try to get him to hit the ball the other way. And also to run hard out of the box. He did 1 out of 2 on that particular play. Hits the ball hard to right center field. Of course, Upton has that gliding speed. But if he runs hard out of the box, he doesn't have to slide into second base. Goes in standing up.
So with Upton in scoring position, Matt Joyce 3 for 8 lifetime against Phil Hughes with 2 home runs. 1-1 on Joyce, 2 outs, top of the second inning. Joyce an all-star for the first time, but his numbers have gone down following a great start. A 1-2 from Hughes, just missed. Two-two, Hughes missing away, full count. Payoff pitch to Joyce is ball 4, so Matt Joyce heads down to first. Rays with runners on first and second for Sean Rodriguez as we welcome in Ken Rosenthal. Ken, the Yankees currently with 6 men in their starting rotation. Who in your mind will wind up as the odd man out?
Well, almost certainly it will be Phil Hughes. And the reason is the Yankees know that he can pitch in relief. A.J. Burnett has not pitched in relief since 2004. I'm sorry, 1 relief appearance since 2004. And with A.J., yesterday, Yankees GM Brian Cashman launched into an impassioned defense of him, basically saying the talk of his recent struggles is, quote, well overblown, unquote. Now, A.J., before his last 2 starts, had an ERA of 4.23. Not too bad, but Tim, he is judged through the prism of his contract, not his performance.
I think from that standpoint, Brian Cashman had a point, because I think A.J. Burnett is judged on the money that he makes. But let's get down to what you would do if the postseason started tomorrow. In my view, Ivan Nova would be the number 2 pitcher. Bartolo Colon would be 3, and if needed, then you go to A.J. Burnett. I do not think the Yankees right now are planning on using A.J. Burnett as the number 2 pitcher in the postseason. Could be wrong. I don't think so.
Just to add to
Nova's won 11 games.
To add to what Ken said regarding Brian Cashman's comments yesterday, the Yankee general manager. Cashman said, quote, he's being treated differently. This is Burnett. Publicly because he has money attached. If you want to blame someone for his contract, blame me, but the man can still pitch. With Nova looking on, the 2-2 from Hughes. Missing low and away, and the count is full to Rodriguez.
The manager can't see whether the pitch is away or not. Joe Girardi can see the height of the pitch and thought it was high enough, but home plate umpire Tom Hallian said it was outside.
Runners go, payoff pitch, and Rodriguez lines out to Cano. So the Rays strand two at the top of the second, still scoreless here in the Bronx. Light line, the just right taste of Bud Light with a refreshing splash of 100% natural lime flavor. Bottom of the second inning from Yankee Stadium. Mark Teixeira leads off against Jeremy Hellickson and takes ball one. Teixeira 32 home runs. He's driven in 86. 20 of his 32 homers have been hit here at home, which leads the major leagues. Only Jose Bautista of the Blue Jays has gone deep more than both Teixeira and Granderson, who've both hit 32. That's him. You referenced Ivan Nova of the Yankees, who has won 11 games. He leads American League rookies. Hellickson next with 10.
Yeah.
Teixeira gets a load of this one, and it curves foul.
But what a career Mark Teixeira has had. Look at that. 9 consecutive seasons with 25 home runs or more. Eddie Matthews, Albert Pujols, the great Albert Pujols, with 11.
Teixeira only one shy of his total from all of last season when he played in 158 games. Hits this one up the middle. Diving stop by Rodriguez. No throw. And the Yankees have the leadoff man on here in the second.
You know, you hear about adjustments all the time, Kenny, and different hitters make different adjustments. You may remember that foul ball that Teixeira hit down the right field line, trying to yank one. He was in a situation looking for a ball inside and just misses a home run. So on the very next pitch, he makes the adjustment, pitch away, through the middle, base hit, an infield hit for Teixeira.
So with Teixeira taking his lead off first, here's Robinson Cano. Teixeira and Casey Kochman, they were traded for each other back in 2008. Chatting at first base. Teixeira traded to the Angels by the Atlanta Braves in exchange for Casey Kochman, July 29th of 08.
Kenny, I would like to go on record saying that no conversation in the history of baseball held between the first baseman and the guy on first ever amounted to anything or meant anything, or that either guy was in any way serious. I'm serious.
I know you're serious.
Some of the most useless language in the history of baseball held between the runner at first and the first baseman.
So what would a typical conversation be like if you were the runner?
It would be, no, I didn't like to talk to first baseman. No. Didn't like to talk to hitters either. But
fastball in for strike one.
Some of the lamest things are said. Like if a guy gets a base hit, a first baseman will say, nice hitting. He could care less whether the guy got a hit or not. What do you mean nice hitting?
If you're a first baseman, you don't want to ever see a base runner on at first, right?
No, that's right. You never want to have conversations with runners.
Well, now Kochman will have a chance to chat with Robinson Cano.
Oh, yeah. And equally useless stuff will be passed between the two. A story about that, a famous story. Back in 1975, Ron Fairley was the first baseman. Bob Gibson, a man who did not like to converse with the first baseman, went to first, and Fairley said, actually, Gibson got a hit. He said, nice hitting. And Gibson looked at him. He didn't say anything. The next time Fairley was up, Fairley said, I've got a feeling, he told Joe Torre, the catcher, I've got a feeling I'm not going to like this at bat. Gibson hit him in the ribs with the first pitch. In other words, don't talk to everybody who comes to first base.
Did Gibson enjoy speaking with his catcher?
Not often, no. I mean, I went years without going to the mound. And I mean that. I talk to Bob now, though.
Is it usually a pleasant conversation?
Oh, yeah, it's great. We often say, just think all those years we could have been talking together.
You have a lot of catching up to do. Well, speaking of battery mates chatting, Torino's out to the mound along with pitching coach Jim Hickey.
Now this does mean something. Obviously, we're kidding about that. Well, not kidding at all about at first base, but Joe Madden sending Jim Hickey out there. Ellingson getting away from the strike zone, the last two hitters.
Yankees with 2 on, nobody out, and a 2-0 count with Swisher at the plate. Next week on Fox Saturday Baseball, the NL Central leading Brewers will take on the Mets over at Citi Field. Cardinals look to gain ground in the NL Central. They take on the Cubs. or you'll see the Reds and the Pirates. Next week's telecast of Fox Saturday Baseball presented by Gillette Fusion Pro Glide begins at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific. Check local listings for the game and start time in your area. The 2-0 from Hellickson, catching the outside corner, now 2-1.
I think you get a young pitcher like Hellickson in this ballpark that has given up more home runs in the last 2+ years than any park in baseball. They try to be understandably too fine early in the count. Dangerous situation right here, however.
Fastball missing away, 3-1.
Reason it's dangerous is Nick Swisher's got a good eye, and he will look for a fastball to jerk. Great power in this ballpark, and there's Yankee Stadium yielding more home runs since it was open than any other park.
Teixeira led off this inning with an infield single. Hellickson then walked Robinson Cano. And now the 3-1 to Swisher, missing away. Back-to-back walks. Bases are loaded for Eric Chavez.
You notice all the fastballs on which Hellickson has missed have been outside the left-handed batters. First to Cano, and then to Swisher. 8 of the last 9 pitches out of the strike zone.
Teixeira on third, Cano out at second, and now Swisher on at first following the walk. Eric Chavez with 5 career grand slams, starting at third base today. Playing in his 30th game with the Yankees, missed 71 games earlier this season due to a fractured left foot. Bases loaded, nobody out. Bottom of the second inning.
Got a break there. Normally a pitcher who is missing won't get one of those borderline pitches.
The 1-1 is popped up. Torinos up against the screen, makes the catch to retire Chavez. So now, for the first time since last Saturday, an at-bat for Jorge Posada. Ken Rosenthal, I know you spoke to both Jorge and Joe Girardi about Posada's return to the lineup today.
Right, Kenny. Joe Girardi said that Posada will still help them this year. He had good at-bats against Hellickson in a series right after the All-Star break. Also good at-bats against James Shields, tomorrow's starter. So this might not be a one-shot deal. He could be in there tomorrow as well. And as for Jorge, his reaction, basically there's not a lot for him to say right now. He just said it is what it is.
Thanks, Ken. Posada did not play in any of the last 5 games. Fastball inside, ball 1. Sat out last Sunday in Boston. All 3 games against the Angels here at home. And the series opener last night.
Posada can still turn on a fastball. And with Hellickson, Wilder with each batter becomes ever more dangerous for a power hitter like Posada.
And Posada with a base hit into right field. Teixeira scores. Here comes Cano. The Yankees lead 2-0.
Well, you hear that term, table setter, referring to your 1 and 2 hitters in the lineup. Sometimes pitchers set the table too. And this is a table set for a bad meal by Jeremy Hellickson. A 1-0 fastball right down the pipe. And a guy like Posada, regardless of how he's going, is not going to miss that pitch.
Here's Russell Martin with runners on the corners and 1 out. Strike 1. Jorge Posada said earlier this week, I'm not happy about the decision, but I will be ready to play. And it is first at bat in his return to the Yankee lineup after sitting out 5 games. He drives in the game's first 2 runs. Nothing and 2 on Martin. Posada, by the way, this Wednesday will turn 40 years of age. The 0-2 to Russell Martin, fouls it back. Martin batting just .204 since the beginning of May. After the hot start. Another foul. 2 hits for the Yankees here in the second. 2 walks. Posada driving in 2 runs, his 32nd and 33rd runs batted in of the season. Alex allowing 2 runs here in the second. He's allowed 3 or fewer earned runs in all but 2 of his 20 starts this season.
Yeah, that gives you an idea of how effective he has been before the start at Yankee Stadium with his dad in the stands.
Alex has already thrown 25 pitches this inning. There's Dad Steve celebrating his 50th birthday in New York this weekend. Remember what Joe Madden told us before the game? He said, Jeremy is so quiet you don't know he's there, and he looks 12.
Yeah. Trying to get Jeremy to pick things up a little bit, but he's of the attitude that things go very slowly for him.
He's very deliberate.
Yeah.
Crowd getting on Hellickson now. Remember, he threw over 5 times with Gardner on first back in the first inning, and he eventually picked him off.
Well, the crowd probably thinking, Jeremy, don't you know Posada can't run? Not a lick.
Hellickson comes back and strikes out Martin. Strikeout number 2 for Hellickson today. Well, baseball greats are coming together for the Pepsi Max Field of Dreams promotion, where you and friends could win a chance to play ball with Major League Baseball legends. Visit Pepsi Max Field of Dreams online to enter today. Remember, if you build it, they will come. Now 2 outs. Here's Brett Gardner. Hit by a pitch and then picked off his first time up. Swisher on at third. Posada over at first. 2 runs in on 2 hits and 2 walks for the Yankees in this half inning. Fastball missing low. Ball 1. Hellickson's been streaky this year, Tim. Started 7-3. Lost his next 4 decisions. And he has won his last 3 decisions since then. He was the American League Pitcher of the Month back in May. Started the Futures game last year. He was named the USA Today Minor League Player of the Year. You talked about his success. 12-3 with AAA Durham, and then 4-0 with the Rays last season.
He has a bright future, no question about that. He's trying to corral things here at Yankee Stadium.
2-0 to Gardner. On the ground to the second baseman, Zobrist. And Hellickson finally out of the inning. Yankees score 2. We'll return after these messages from your local Fox station. Gillette Fusion Pro Glide. Top of the third inning from Yankee Stadium. Yankees leading the Rays 2-0. Catcher Robinson Chirinos leads off for the Rays against Phil Hughes and takes a called strike. 0-1. Chirinos batting .250 in 18 games with Tampa Bay. Sends this one into shallow left. Jeter will make the catch, crossing in front of Gardner to retire Chirinos.
A little better angle for Derek Jeter. You can see Gardner looking once or twice. Now realizes that Derek had a beat on it to make the play.
And then Derek thanking Brett Gardner for taking part in the pregame ceremony. Here's Desmond Jennings, who flied out to the warning track in right field. His first time up.
Funny, Derek Jeter was the best man in Jorge Posada's wedding. And Jorge Posada has been the best man in this game so far, with the driving in 2 runs with that single to right.
And Posada also involved in the gift presentation to Derek Jeter during the pregame ceremony. Derek receiving a Waterford crystal vase from Yankees president Randy Levine and COO Lon Trost. He was also given Balfour commemorative rings and pendants by managing general partner Hal Steinbrenner and his wife Christina. And then Posada, along with CC Sabathia and the entire team, as Jennings is called out on strikes, they presented Jeter with a 225-pound stainless steel sculpture. Derek's parents looking on the field along with his sister Charlene. How about that?
That is about as pretty a 3,000 as you can have.
Hit number 3,000 back on July 9th against David Price and these Tampa Bay Rays. And Johnny Damon was leading the cheers that afternoon from just in front of the visiting dugout.
As an ex-teammate of Derek Jeter. Of course, Johnny's been an ex-teammate of a lot of guys. Broke in with Kansas City, went to Oakland, Boston, the Yankees, and now Tampa Bay. He's had a terrific career. Detroit last year. So Johnny with his 6th major league team.
Has won the World Series with both the Red Sox in 2004 and the Yankees in 2009. Reached on a Jeter error his first time up. Now 2-2.
Big thing about Johnny Damon, among many other things, every place he's been one of the more popular players on the team.
Absolutely. Not popular right now is Phil Hughes to Johnny Damon as Damon strikes out. Rays retired in order in the 3rd, and Mr. 3000 will lead off for the Yankees when we come back. Here in the bottom of the 3rd inning against Jeremy Hellickson, who allowed 2 runs in the 2nd. Jorge Posada driving in a pair with a single to right field. We mentioned earlier Jeremy Hellickson's dad, Steve, is in the crowd celebrating his 50th birthday this weekend in New York, watching his son take on the Yankees. And our Chris Rose has made his way over to Steve Hellickson and friends. Chris.
All right, Kenny, thank you very much. Steve, this must be a surreal moment for you. A lifelong Yankees fan watching your 24-year-old kid out there on the bump in Yankee Stadium. Can't imagine the emotions.
No, absolutely. You just can't. Can't imagine. You can't put it into words.
He's facing his idol right now in Derek Jeter. Is that correct?
Yes. Just got a lucky hit off of him.
What's it like? He struggled back there in the 2nd inning a little bit. What is it like for a father to watch his son, pressure pack situation in the Bronx, doing his thing?
Well, it's you know, it's okay. I'd rather him be doing better, but he'll be all right. You know, he's going to struggle from time to time, and he is struggling tonight. Obviously, he's just missing a little bit. I texted my cousin in San Diego because it looked like the umpire was squeezing him a little bit, and And he texted me back, said, no, he's just missing, you know. So he's just missing, but, you know, he'll I was hoping he'd have a quick, easy inning here, but it's not starting off so good. So.
Now, Jeremy's dog is named Jeter. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah. More number 2 in high school.
When you become a member of the Rays organization, don't you have to change it to Longoria or Kochman or Shopik or something different?
Yeah, well, he loves them all. I mean, he loves the Rays. He loves everything about them. Madden, Hickey, you know, it's just you can't help but love the whole organization. You know, as uphill a battle as they've got, you know, in the American League East. He loves where he's at and loves everybody on the team. He really does, you know. Never said a bad word about anybody.
Finally, do you still have your Yankee gear at home, or did you get rid of that?
It's probably there somewhere, but I'm going to get a Yankee hat here at Yankee Stadium. I'm not gonna ever wear it, but I'm gonna get one.
You deserve it. You turned 50 yesterday. Go get that lid and make your son pay for it too.
Yeah, okay.
Steve, thanks for sharing a few minutes for us. Kenny.
All right, Chris. Tim, I guess his old Yankee gear must be up in the attic somewhere.
Yeah. How about that? He's going to buy a Yankee cap, but he's not going to wear it. That's great.
Buying himself a birthday present.
Yeah, absolutely. What are you going to do with it, though, if you're not going to wear it?
Well, perhaps 5, 6, 7 years down the line, his son could become a Yankee.
Perhaps.
You never know. Here's the 2-1 from Granderson, looking to bunt to the left side with the Rays employing the shift once again.
That's wide open for Curtis. Of course, now there are 2 strikes, and trying to take advantage of it and push something to the right of Evan Longoria.
How about that great note from Steve Hellickson? His son wore Derek Jeter's number 2 in high school.
Number 2, yeah.
To Granderson. I wonder what Steve's cousin in San Diego thought about that pitch.
He's texting him right now. But again, Hellickson is missing to the left-handed hitters in particular, off the plate away. And that pitch looked outside.
Steve's cousin would agree.
Yeah. Running situation here for Jeter.
He holds, and Granderson is called out on strikes.
I know Granderson strikes out a lot and ends up taking this 3-2 pitch. But Hellickson getting that call, and that ball was a strike. You can see Chirinos thinking that Jeter was going to run and looking at him incredulously.
As the crew chief Tom Hallion signaled strike 3, Bill Miller at first base, James Hoy at second, and New Jersey native Phil Cuzzi over at third. First pitch to Teixeira, missing away. Ball 1. Jeter with a leadoff single, referred to as a lucky hit by Steve Hellickson. Granderson struck out. Chris still chatting with Steve. Teixeira with a drive to right, and a jump and a catch by Matt Joyce for out number 2. Well, the NFL is back, and Fox's preseason coverage continues on Thursday as the revamped Eagles, the Dream Team, take on the defending AFC champion Steelers. Then on Friday, the Falcons head to Jacksonville to square off against the Jaguars. Coverage of both games begins at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific in high definition, only on Fox. Eagles Steelers Thursday. Michael Vick, Ben Roethlisberger, and then the Jaguars and Vic's former team, the Atlanta Falcons, on Friday. And the regular season begins Sunday, September 11th, with Fox NFL Sunday at noon Eastern. Robinson Cano, first pitch, off the glove of the diving Rodriguez into left field. And Cano is on base for the second time in 3 innings.
visiting with Joe Madden before the game, and he said Sean Rodriguez, who is the starting shortstop this afternoon, is the best defensive second baseman in the American League. That's a surprise to all of us. We haven't seen Sean a lot. He's moved to short, and Joe said he's had some problems at shortstop. But he is, and the play he made last night on the ball that Jeter hit on the double play, which was a very important play last night, was one to look at again and again and again.
What a play. So now with 2 away, here's Nick Swisher. And the Rays have played terrific defense, Tim, all season long. They've committed the fewest errors in the American League, and Joe Madden has said throughout the season that defense is a big part of what they do.
Tight defense, good starting pitching, some problems with the bullpen. Have a tough time offensively. Not last night, but they have today.
5 solo home runs for the Rays last night. They trail this game 2-0. Nothing and 2 on Swisher. Two on, 2 out. Yankees lead 2-0. One and 2. Yankees scored their runs in the second inning. A 2-run single to right field off the bat of Jorge Posada in the Yankee lineup for the first time in a week. Jeter on second. Cano takes his lead off first. Hellickson takes a deep breath. Looking to get out of the bottom of the third unscathed. Sixty pitches. He is not yet out of the third.
A lot of deep counts and 2 walks. You get the meaning of what Joe Madden means when he said they'd like to speed him up a bit.
You may want to have Hellickson talk to James Shield about that.
We can talk to him about it today, in fact, in about an inning or an inning and a half.
And we will.
Yeah.
Runners go. Payoff pitch. Swisher strikes out to end the inning. Well, coming up, we will chat with the Yankees skipper, Joe Girardi. His team leads 2-0. Steve's happy this time. Is sponsored by Pepsi Max. 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste. By Geico, 15 minutes to save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Sprint, all together now. Phil Hughes and the Yankees with a 2-0 lead on the Rays. Top of the 4th inning, with Evan Longoria leading off for Tampa Bay. Longoria grounded into a 6-4-3 double play back in the 1st inning after Johnny Damon reached on a Derek Jeter error. 1-1 on Longoria. He'll be followed by Ben Zobrist and then Casey Kotchman. Foul back to the screen, 1-2.
You can see the body language of Phil Hughes much better than it was earlier in the season. He had 3 starts up until April 14th, and then he missed about 3 months, came back on July 6th, 5 starts since then.
You saw Larry Rothschild, the Yankees pitching coach. He was the first ever manager of the then Tampa Bay Devil Rays from 1998 through 2001. His first year as Yankee pitching coach. The 2-2 from Hughes, missing high to Longoria, full count.
Pitching coach for ex-Yankee Lou Piniella with the Cincinnati Reds when they went wire to wire back in 1990. Beat the Oakland Athletics in 4.
Longoria with a base hit into right field, so the leadoff man is on for the Rays here in the 4th. We spoke moments ago with Yankees manager Joe Girardi and started off by talking about Jorge Posada's 2-run single back in the 2nd inning.
Yeah, that was a big hit. We got the bases loaded with nobody out, and Chavi popped up to the catcher, and you know those are situations you have to take advantage of. The base load, nobody out, and Georgie got a big hit for us.
What do you see out of Phil Hughes so far, Joe?
I think he's mixed his stuff tremendously. He's used his curveball, he's used his changeup more than he has in the past, and it's worked well so far.
Did you talk to Russell Martin about doing that perhaps before the game?
You know, I let Larry handle that. Larry Rothschild, our pitching coach, they talk about a plan to get the hitters out, and obviously you have to be able to execute the pitches, and if you're able to execute the pitches, sometimes it works out really well.
Thanks, Joe. Best of luck.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Joe.
So Hughes off to a good start today. He's allowed only 2 hits over the first 3+ innings. Facing Ben Zobrist, who rips this one to deep right field, and the catch is made by Swisher on the edge of the warning track for out number 1.
That ball hammered by Zobrist. A good play by Nick Swisher. Obviously playing Ben deeply. And Phil Hughes appreciates it. That ball with a ton of topspin.
A thank you from Phil Hughes to his right fielder. Here's Casey Kotchman, struck out his first time up. And Ken Rosenthal, we alluded during Kotchman's first at bat to the huge improvement he has made this season, raising his batting average 122 points from a year ago.
Well, Kenny, the Rays are his 4th team in 3 seasons, and there might not be a more appreciative player on the field today. In fact, Rays bench coach Dave Martinez told me that he expresses his gratitude to the coaches on a regular basis. And when I spoke with Kotchman yesterday, he used the term privilege to describe himself right now. He feels privileged to wear the big league uniform. And guys, that's not often the way you hear major leagues put it.
He's probably used to Kenny expressing his regards to his coaches since his dad has managed over 3,000 minor league games and is watching our game today from Orem, Utah, as the Orem Owls are playing the Casper Ghosts. That's right, Casper, Wyoming Ghosts. There's Tom Kotchman. 28 seasons in the Angels organization, and he and Joe Madden are very, very close friends.
Joe Madden spent 31 years in the Angels organization, and he told us before the game, I remember Casey when he was smaller than the garbage can that he pointed to in his office here at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah.
Kochman sends this one into the left field corner. A diving attempt by Gardner. Well, Kochman signed a minor league contract with the Rays back in January. Grew up in St. Petersburg.
Went to Pinellas High, right?
Playing for his hometown Tampa Bay Rays, who of course play their home games in St. Pete. He is challenging the all-time record as far as raising a batting average from one season to the next. You have to go back to the 1917 and 1918 seasons. A player by the name of, ready for this, Tim, George Burns with Detroit.
Not the one with Gracie. Right?
No.
No.
The other George Burns. 1917 Tigers, then went to the Philadelphia A's the next year and raised his batting average 126 points. That is the all-time Major League record. Full count with one out. Longoria takes his lead off first. Yankees lead 2-0. Top of the fourth inning here in the Bronx. Longoria goes, and it is a diving stop by Teixeira. He will win the race to the bag. But the Rays stay out of the double play.
I'll tell you, we have talked about the Gold Glove of Mark Teixeira so many times. It's almost as though he were a left-handed fielding first baseman. I don't think I have ever seen a first baseman with the range of Teixeira. I mean, a guy who is not fast afoot, but is fast with his first 2 or 3 steps. That was just a terrific play by a great defensive first baseman.
And a 4-time Gold Glove Award winner. So Longoria now takes his leadoff second with 2 outs. Ball 1 to B.J. Upton, who doubled back in the second inning for the Rays' first hit of the game. Fastball missing low, 2-0. Off the mask of Martin. Now 2-1.
Russell appears to be all right. A lot of people think foul tips like that don't hurt because you have a mask on, but they hurt.
He was a hockey player. He's fine.
Yeah, well, you know, we're finding more out about concussions now, too, Kenny, and we've had a couple of instances this year where catchers and several home plate umpires have been concussed on foul tips like that.
Fastball in for strike 2. Now 2-2 on B.J. Upton.
But it does help that Russell Martin grew up in Montreal and played as a goalie along with his catching duties. Those masks come in handy.
He wore the mask year-round.
Yeah, right.
Pitch number 61 from Hughes. Nice block by Martin, as he prevented from going through his 5-hole. Evan Longoria on at second, 2 outs. Yankees leading 2-0. Born in East York, Ontario, grew up in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Jeter across to Teixeira, and Hughes shutting out the Rays over his first 4. the fourth inning with Eric Chavez leading off against Jeremy Hellickson. Chavez fouled out to the catcher Torinos with the bases loaded his first time up. Fouled off to the left side. We are joined live from the Rays dugout by 11-game winner James Shields. There's James getting ready to start tomorrow's game for Tampa Bay against Freddie Garcia. Thanks for joining us, James.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime.
Now, in your last start Tuesday against Kansas City, and you and I talked about this in the clubhouse prior to the game, a complete game, 4-0 victory, 1 hour, 53 minutes, the quickest game in the major leagues this season. How'd you do it?
Oh my gosh, it had to do with the defense for sure. There's no doubt about it. I mean, those guys were hacking, and obviously you got to give credit to the other pitcher, Jeff Francis, over there on the other side. He did a pretty good job too as well.
James, were you a bit surprised that you're still with the Rays? I mean, with the trading deadline passing on July 31st?
I'm not too surprised. I think I really wanted to stay here. I wanted to be a Ray. I mean, obviously I've been a Ray since the beginning of my career in 2000, and I definitely wanted to stay here. So, I mean, sometimes it's surprising, sometimes it's not. We almost got hit by a ball there.
Evan Longoria coming your way.
Yeah, John.
You can turn around, James. It's okay.
There you go. But anyways, yeah, it's, I mean, I definitely love playing here. I love being here, and I'm glad I'm here right now.
Well, you do follow direction well. Our director, John Moore, asked you to turn to your left and face the camera, but we don't want you to get hit by anything.
just when she said something.
Now, getting back to that 1 hour, 53-minute game on Tuesday, do you have any pointers for the Yankees and the Red Sox?
Oh my gosh, we tend to play a lot of long games against them, and it's kind of one of those things where, I mean, these two teams work the count pretty well. So I mean, they work the count. Obviously tonight they're working the count against Harold Helly tonight, and going deep in the count. So that kind of prolongs the game a little bit. So hopefully we can get a little quicker game tomorrow.
Here's the 2-2 to Chavez. And he sends this one down the left field line, and Jennings makes the catch for out number 1. Now, James, you're involved with a number of different charities down in the Tampa St. Pete area. Tell us a little bit about the Big Game James Club.
Yeah, man, it's been going on for a couple years. Big Game James Club. It's I host about 50 foster kids. And 10 at a time get to come to the games, get to come to the home games and hang out in the suite, eat some chicken fingers, take a bunch of pictures, do a bunch of arts and crafts stuff up there, and really enjoy the game. I mean, it's a real good moment for these kids. I mean, they don't get to have too many memories, with the family. So they, this is one thing that they get to do to kind of keep their mind off of what's going on in their lives.
Jorge Posada drove in both Yankee runs his first time up, his first start since last Saturday. James, we saw David Price there just to your left. What's he trying to do to you?
Oh my gosh, every interview I have on TV or anybody has, he's throwing seeds at anybody, everyone. I mean, he's just dumping a bucket full of seeds. And I told him tonight, you might want to take it easy.
James, well, seriously, between starts, I know that there are a lot of fans out there who would ask the question, what does a starting pitcher do between starts, and how much do you study the other hitters?
We do a lot of studying. We do a lot of film work. We definitely have our routines. Every starter obviously has different routines, but our staff, we pretty much have the same routine within each other. We work out, as much as we possibly can. We throw bullpen sessions. We do video work. We have a lot of things that we do in between starts to get ready for our every start. So, we work real hard in here, and I think it's definitely contagious, and it shows over the last 3 or 4 years.
And you will start tomorrow's game against Freddie Garcia. How about pitching in this ballpark? Obviously, a lot of balls leave this ballpark. Your teammates hit 5 last night. There's Posada's second hit today. Does the mindset change at all of pitching in this new Yankee Stadium?
You definitely have a short porch there out in right field, and there's definitely a nice little jet stream that goes out there. But I mean, you can't really change too much. If you try to change, you might be off your game a little bit. You got to just attack the hitters as you normally do, and try to get as many ground balls in this park as possible. Obviously, this is a great hitting team over on the other side there, but it's just one of those things where you just stay within yourself and pitch your game.
And you have pitched your game to completion on 8 occasions this season, leading all of baseball in complete games, as Posada gets back into first, and that's something that I'm sure you're very proud of.
Yeah, definitely. That was one of the things in spring training I told Joe this year. I said I wanted to start finishing some games. I hadn't, before this year, prior to this year, I didn't throw a complete game since 2008, and that was one of the things that's been missing in my game. I mean, I'm one of those guys that, I throw 200 innings every year. I've done it over the last 4 years, and I like to finish games. I consider myself more of an old school pitcher, at heart, and I want the ball at the very end. So I think this year it's been a phenomenal year so far.
And you had not thrown a complete game over the last 2 seasons. 8 this year, 4 shutouts, 11 wins, with Brett Gardner at the plate with 2 outs. James, as always, thanks for joining us. Best of luck over the remainder of this 2011 season, and stay out of the way of those sunflower seeds fired at you by David Price.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks, James.
All righty.
You're welcome to stay on and listen to the remainder of the inning, James.
Sure.
Brett Gardner hit by a pitch in the first, grounded out in the second. Nothing at 2 on Gardner. He's back. He hands it off.
David, you can stay on if you like. David Price.
All right, I'll talk.
Yeah.
Bonus coverage.
How you doing today? Doubleheader we got.
I'm good.
James Shields and David Price.
Now James is complaining about those sunflower seeds. Is he trying to get you back in the dugout?
Oh, that was ridiculous. Yeah, I just smacked him on the face with that sticky thing, so we're even.
He's heading down to the other side.
Yeah, he better not mess with me. He begged me today during BP to not mess with him, so don't even think about it.
Now that we have you with us, David, we have to ask you: did you wind up getting the autograph from Derek Jeter?
No, I don't think so. Not yet. No, I'm waiting for it. I'm sure I'll get it at some point.
But it will be something, despite giving up that 3,000th hit, that I guess many years from now you will put up on the mantle?
Absolutely. I mean, that was That's up, Neiman. That was not something that I want. Elliott caught that ball.
We're about ready to get the whole staff involved down there.
This is ridiculous.
Hey, David, can you put Jeremy Hellickson on for a second?
Ellie. He's coming. He'll be over here in a minute.
He's a little busy.
Yeah, it is definitely something I would like to have on my mantle, because that's it's a part of history, and I was a part of it. I'm going to be in the Hall of Fame, for that, and that's I feel like that's pretty neat.
Here's the 1-2 to Brett Gardner. So take us back to that morning, July 9th. Jeter 2 hits away. I would assume it was something you were thinking about, the potential that you would be the guy to give it up.
Yeah. Once Jeremy's game got rained out, I was kind of hoping he didn't to Jeremy, because he's a rookie, and that'd have been a storybook for him, because that's his favorite player growing up. And his dog's name is Jeter and all that. But he's a good player. He's got a ton of hits off a ton of pitchers, and I just happen to be that guy.
Takes it off the bat of Gardner into right field. So the Yankees with runners on first and second. Do you have a dog, David?
I do.
What's his name?
Astro. From the Jetsons, not because of Houston Astros.
Oh, okay. Not Jeter, though, huh?
No, it's not Jeter. I did have a Jeter jersey. That was my favorite. My mom actually gave it away this year in church, so I no longer have that.
Did you sell your baseball cards as well?
I don't know where those are.
Well, here he is coming up to the plate. 1 month and 4 days after that 3,000th career hit. He singled back in the third inning today off Hellickson. Talk a little bit about Jeremy Hellickson, David, and the season he's had.
He's fun to watch pitch. He doesn't overpower guys, but he pitches, and it's fun to see a guy at his age and in his first year in the big leagues go out there and have the poise that he has out there on the mound. He doesn't show any emotion, whether he's playing good or throwing bad. I feel like that's pretty special to have a guy like that that can control his emotions, especially on a stage like this. So it's fun to watch him pitch, and he makes his stuff up well.
David, we're taking a look now at a replay with the headset on. A nice right-handed toss of the sunflower seeds just a moment ago.
Thank you.
So continuing where you left off last night, I guess. 8 innings, only 1 run, and buoyed by 5 solo home runs. And how about this stat, David? I'm not sure if you heard this morning. I'm sure you know, but 5 career starts against CC Sabathia, and you and the Rays have gone 5-0 in those career starts against CC.
I didn't know that. That's pretty good. I remember Reed Brignac hitting a walk-off last year whenever me and CC both went 8 and didn't give up any. I think he hit a walk-off in the 11th. I do remember that one, but I don't remember the 3 wins.
You have to do a better job reading the pregame notes. Come on.
I'll work it out tomorrow.
2-1 on Derek Jeter with 2 outs. 2 on here in the bottom of the 4th inning. With the Yankees leading the Rays 2-0. We've concluded our conversation with James Shields. David Price, nice enough to take the handoff of the headset from James.
Double coverage.
No one, Neiman?
Jeff Neiman waiting in the broadcast bullpen.
No.
As Jeter lines out to Sean Rodriguez. Thanks very much, David.
All right, thank you all.
Thank you, David.
See ya.
4 innings in the books. 2-0 Yanks.
It's been a while since we've dined on that.
You don't like getting those hands too sticky, I guess.
No.
Well, Phil Hughes and the Yankees.
Many ways it's better than pine tar. Kind of tastes like it too at times. Only kidding.
Let's do a taste test.
Yeah.
0-2 on Matt Joyce, who walked his first time up. Hughes has allowed 2 hits over the first 4 innings. Let's see, an autograph on the cap, cotton candy, and a baseball. What a day.
Big time.
Looked like a Johnny Damon autograph on the side of that cap.
Wearing number 2, Derek Jeter's shirt. Just got a bat. He's got a bat and a ball, cotton candy.
He can go home now.
There it is. That's B.J. Upton. How about that?
Bat day at Yankee Stadium.
Pretty good seat right there.
Two and 2 on Joyce. He'll be followed by Sean Rodriguez and then Robinson Chirinos. Full count. It was fun chatting with James Shields and David Price.
Was.
David not shy about admitting that he will ask for a Derek Jeter autograph, and it'll be proudly displayed on his mantle as Joyce flies out to Swisher. Time now for a DirecTV game break. Take it away, Chris Rose.
Well, it's Unievsky Betancourt signing in here, his 9th of the year, that off of Kevin Correa. The Brewers have only won 34 of their last 37 against the Pirates, by the way. It's 1-zip in the 6th. They have a 4-game lead in the NL Central. To see every baseball game the most in HD, it's 1-800-DIRECTV. And guys, I think James Shields and David Price have gotten so much Fox airtime, they've qualified for our 401k program now.
Sign them up for after. Sean Rodriguez lined out to Cano his first time up. 1 out, top of the 5th inning.
About that, the Milwaukee Brewers now 42-15 at home. That's after, obviously, 67 home games. The last time that after 67 home games a team had that good a record was back in 2004 when the Yankees did it.
Brewers with one more home win than the Philadelphia Phillies, who have the best record in all of baseball. One, two to Rodriguez, a called strike 3, 4th strikeout for Phil Hughes.
Fastball right on the corner to get Rodriguez.
So now 2 away. Tune into the MLB Network for the 2011 World Series Senior Baseball Championship game tomorrow at 2 Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. Foul back to the screen by Chirinos. 0-1.
A lot of talk at this time of year in baseball about home field advantage. It would behoove the Milwaukee Brewers to get home field advantage because they have played so well at home, more than any other major league team when you think about it.
Home field advantage for the first 2 rounds of the postseason.
Right.
Of course,
they would have it for the World Series if they got that far.
Home field advantage has already been determined, of course.
Right. Since the National League won the All-Star game this year. 2 big punches right there. They've won 10 of their last 11 at home. Best home record in baseball. And they've won 8 of 12 against their primary rival, the St. Louis Cardinals.
Chirinos went around. Hughes retires the Rays in order in the 5th inning. turn shaving into gliding and skeptics into believers. Back at Yankee Stadium, Yankees lead the Rays 2-0. Bottom of the 5th inning as Curtis Granderson steps in to lead off against Jeremy Hellickson, who has struck out Granderson twice in today's game. Mark Feinstein, the terrific Yankees beat writer from the New York Daily News, is reporting that the Yankees have signed a former Yankee right-handed reliever Scott Proctor to a minor league contract. Proctor released by the Atlanta Braves earlier this week, and he will report to AAA Scranton on either Monday or Tuesday. Proctor pitched for the Yankees from 2004 through 2007, then went to the Dodgers for a couple of seasons and on to the Braves.
When you think about it, Kenny, there are 3 things surrounding the New York Yankees right now. A left-handed DH primarily against a right-handed pitcher for the postseason. The problems Mariano Rivera has had this week, and pairing the 6 starters that include Phil Hughes, and that's why today is such an important start, and every start that Phil has for the rest of the year, why it's so important. Because Joe Girardi has about 6 weeks to decide. Is A.J. Burnett going to be the number 2 guy? You know CC is going to be the opening day starter. You know he can come back after 3 days rest for the first round. But Ivan Nova has just been superb. His sliders coming along. And Bartolo Colon, Freddie Garcia have both been terrific. But I think Colon has the edge right now between those two because he can throw 96 miles an hour for an extended period of time through 6-7 innings.
Yankee starters have won 55 games. 55 of the 71 games won by the Yankees so far. Sabathia 16-6, although he has lost his last 2. There's CC.
And of course they have one of the Yankees, that is, have one of the real superb setup pitchers in baseball, David Robertson. Now, you know, we have to say that because David's lovely wife is here.
And how about this shot off the bat of Granderson, number 33 on the season.
This ties Jose Bautista of the Toronto Blue Jays, who did not homer today, but Granderson did for home run number 33 on the year. Two strikeouts and then a home run. The Yankees lead the majors in home runs and stolen bases. And if they continue to do that, it will be the first time since 1938 that the Yankees have led the American League in both home runs and stolen bases. Wow. They've only done it 3 times. 31, 33, and 38.
What a decade.
Yeah, really.
So Granderson with his 33rd, speaking of the 30s, 33rd home run of the season, 5th in the last 5 games. And he becomes the first Yankee center fielder, Tim, to hit at least 33 home runs in a season since the late Bobby Mercer did it back in 1972.
Wow. I had the honor and privilege of working with Bobby for 3 years doing the Yankee games back in 99, 2000, and 2001. And he will always be missed here at Yankee Stadium. What a gentleman. Reeked class.
So Teixeira with his 32 home runs, now one behind his teammate. Chevrolet proudly supports the great game of baseball at all levels. See how they're making kids' baseball dreams come true across the USA at ChevyBaseball.com. Teixeira flies out to Upton for out number 1. Robinson Cano, the hero at the Home Run Derby the night prior to the All-Star game. And in past years, we have seen players who participated deep into the Home Run Derby, their power totals have dropped off over the second half of the season. But Ken Rosenthal, that has not been the case with Robinson Cano.
Not at all, Kenny. And it's funny, David Ortiz told me last week that the problem for these guys in the Home Run Derby is often that they become pull happy after the break, try to pull everything. Well, Robinson Cano is a hitter who uses all fields. He's actually hitting better in the second half than he did in the first. And guess what? 3 of his home runs to the opposite field.
Ken Cano sends this one into the right field corner. And he slides in safely at second. 30th two-base hit of the season, and the second hit today for Cano.
The former manager of the Montreal Expos, Felipe Alou, called Rondell White Thunderhands. Well, if he called him Thunderhands, Joe Girardi should call Robinson Cano Lightning Hands, because they are lightning quick on inside fastballs. The throw by Matt Joyce is errant. And Cano with a relatively easy double.
So that will be all for Jeremy Hellickson, with his dad Steve celebrating his 50th birthday in the stands. Hellickson exits after just 4 1/3. He'll be replaced by the right-hander Brandon Gomes. Nick Swisher steps in against 27-year-old right-hander Brandon Gomes, making his 25th appearance of the season on in relief of Jeremy Hellickson, who pitched 4 1/3 innings, allowed 8 runs, or 8 hits, I should say, 3 runs, and Cano on second is his responsibility. Now Chirinos out for a chat with Gomes.
Brandon Gomes recalled from AAA Durham, the Durham Bulls, in fact, on July 7th, right before the All-Star break, when Wade Davis was placed on the 15-day disabled list with a strained right forearm.
Gomes originally drafted by the San Diego Padres out of Tulane University. Fastball missing inside. Now 2-0. Swisher walked in the second, struck out in the third. Granderson led off this inning with a solo home run, his 33rd of the season, tying Jose Bautista for the major league lead. Teixeira fly to center, and then Cano with a double to right field. Two and one on Swisher. In case you joined us late, Jorge Posada back in the Yankee lineup for the first time in a week. Singled in the first 2 Yankee runs back in the second inning. There's Jorge. And then picked up another base hit in the fourth. He's 2 for 2. And Phil Hughes in a battle for a spot in the Yankee rotation has shut out the Rays on only 2 hits through the first 5 innings. And you also missed the tandem of James Shields and David Price, who chatted with us from the Rays dugout.
Priceless.
No, we had David Price. We were priceless until Shields handed over the headset. And waiting in our bullpen, Aaron Robertson, the wife of Yankee All-Star David Robertson, who will talk to us during the top of the 6th inning about the High Sox for Hope Foundation. Payoff pitch to Swisher is ball 4. So he heads down to first base. Yankees with runners on first and second. Here's Eric Chavez, 0 for 2. Fouled out to the catcher with the bases loaded in the second, and then fly to left in the fourth. Chavez with 2 on, 1 out.
By the Yankees and the Red Sox, such tough lineups. Their hitters make pitchers throw strikes. They will not go out of the strike zone very often. You rarely see many check swings from the Yankees or the Red Sox. Wait and wait and wait. Get your pitch and capitalize on it. But it's so much easier to hit off pitchers who are always falling behind.
And following today's game, Joe Maddon's Rays will still have 17 of their 43 games remaining against those two teams, the Yankees and Red Sox.
About 39% of their teams left. They take a train to Boston via Sella tomorrow after the game.
And they will be wearing 1950s era fedoras. Just another one of the theme trips the Rays have taken over the last couple of seasons under their skipper Joe Maddon. Guess who's coming up for the second time today with the bases loaded.
Already with 2 hits under his belt.
A 2-run single in the second inning with the bases loaded. There's Cano, Swisher, and Chavez. Back-to-back walks issued by Gomes after replacing Hellickson. 1-0 from Gomes. Fastball missing low and inside. Now 2-0 and a visit from pitching coach Jim Hickey. As we take a look back at Jorge Posada's 2 at-bats today.
Bases loaded to drive in 2 runs. And then with 1 out, nobody on in the 4th inning, a single to left center field. So Posada has had opportunities today, and yet another opportunity here with the count 2 balls and no strikes. And the bases loaded.
He came into this game with only 1 hit in his last 13 at-bats. His last at-bat a week ago. Bases loaded. With Posada at the plate facing Gomes. 2-0 count. Right field, deep, grand slam. With the crowd still on their collective feet, a base hit up the middle for Russell Martin.
Jorge Posada from the closet to the penthouse. Talk about a stunning turnaround. A 2-0 fastball that he juiced, and in the process juiced up this crowd.
His 3rd hit today. He's driven in 6 of the 7 Yankee runs. His 10th career grand slam. And there is probably nobody in this stadium happier for Jorge Posada than his longtime teammate Derek Jeter.
One game doesn't make the rest of the season. However, if he is the designated hitter against right-handed pitching when the postseason starts, perhaps the Yankees and he can look back at this game and point to it as the game that got him in the postseason. Not the Yankees, but him.
So many questions after the decision was made last weekend to pull Posada out of the lineup. Looking ahead, and these questions will still come into play, of course, over the next 6 weeks as to whether or not he will be on that postseason roster. Fastball missing low and inside. Now 3-1. Ken Rosenthal.
Well, Kenny, A-Rod's supposed to come back toward the end of this week. He's on a rehabilitation assignment right now. And at that point, it will be really a difficult task for Joe Girardi to get Jorge Posada at bats. They've been using Eric Chavez as the primary DH against right-handers. A-Rod will be at third. Chavez could be the DH or the other way around. This could get interesting.
Base hit into right field off the bat of Gardner. 5th hit of the inning for the Yankees. And Gomes has not retired a batter. He's faced 5 of them. McCann alluded to the pending return of Alex Rodriguez, who hit a home run on his first swing last night playing for Single A Tampa. In his first rehab appearance, he went 2 for 3 with a double, a home run, 2 runs batted in. Scheduled to DH today, as we were told by Yankee General Manager Brian Cashman. Scheduled to participate in an intra-squad game tomorrow. Then he will travel to Scranton to meet the Yankees AAA affiliate. He will play there Tuesday and Wednesday. Yankees want him to play in the field defensively as well. And if all goes right, according to Brian Cashman and Joe Girardi, he would join the Yankees for their series in Minnesota next weekend.
Posada obviously not happy with the situation, begrudgingly saying that, look, I put myself in this situation.
Jeter lines out to Kotsman, who steps on first for the double play.
Well, Jorge Posada could just as easily put himself in a different situation with a game like this.
Nothing as we move to the 6th inning. Top of the order for the Rays, Desmond Jennings, who was 0 for 2, called out on strikes his last time up. Jennings fouls it off to the right side, 1-1.
Only one base runner for the Rays in the last 3 1/3 inning. That was Evan Longoria, who singled to lead off the 4th.
Only 2 hits for the Rays over the first 5. Now 2-1 on Jennings.
We talked about it at the top, about the 2 big keys today for the Yankees and for the rest of the season, Jorge Posada and Phil Hughes, and both have delivered in a big way today.
Posada has driven in 6 of the 7 Yankee runs, with a 2-run single in the 2nd and his 10th career grand slam in the 5th. Jennings drives this one to deep left field. Desmond Jennings with his 4th home run of the season, putting the Rays on the board.
Well, it's true that major league hitters hit good pitches out of the park. This is not a good pitch. 74-mile-an-hour high curveball.
Sixth home run of the series for the Rays. 5 last night. And Jennings extending his hitting streak to 5 games with his 4th home run. Johnny Damon left field, and it gets by the diving Gardner and rolls to the wall. Damon on his way to 3rd, and he is in.
Nice try by Brett Gardner, realizing that if the ball gets by him, it's going to be a triple, not a double. But with a 6-run lead, you could take chances like that. By the way, that home run by Desmond Jennings to put the Rays on the board. He is from Birmingham and is a huge University of Alabama fan.
The University of Alabama, the alma mater of Yankees relief pitcher David Robertson, is having an outstanding season as Longoria falls behind 0-1. David leads All-American relievers, American League relievers, with an ERA of 1.35, represented the Yankees in the All-Star game last month. But more importantly, along with his wife Erin, created the High Sox for Hope Foundation to benefit the tornado victims in David's hometown of Tuscaloosa. Of course, the tornado back in late April, and Erin has joined us. Thanks for coming up. And you have a big event coming up, I guess, on August 22nd in New York City.
Thank you. Yes, we do. Skybridge Capital was kind enough to sponsor an event for us on August 22nd at Southern Hospitality.
Southern Hospitality in Manhattan on 9th Avenue. And you and David, I guess, along with Nick and Joanna Switcher, hosting the event.
That's right, yes. Nick and Joe are 2 of our closest friends, and they've decided to help us and host this event, and the team will be there in support, and it's going to be a really great night.
How much money have you raised so far for High Sox for Hope?
We have raised almost $100,000 so far.
Oh, that's wonderful.
In just a few months. Yeah, it's been really successful.
And David is also donating $100 per strikeout.
That's right, yes.
71 strikeouts at 7,100. And as importantly, you have really taken a real interest in this, and it consumes your life almost right now at this time, right?
Yeah, it really has. I mean, we've had so much support, and we're helping so many people, so it's just been a motivation for me, to do more and more in everything that we can do, and we've had so much success. So.
What is the most memorable request that you have had from someone in Tuscaloosa?
It's funny. Very few people ask us for things, and more often than not, that it's only when they need major necessities like baby diapers or food, and then we find out they need so much more. Like they're sleeping on the floor, or, they're living in a tent, and those are the people that we really love to help because they're really in need.
You guys have a website, highsoxforhope.com. I know both you and David are very active on Twitter. What can the viewers do to help, to donate? And I know you have T-shirts available as well.
Yes. On our website, highsoxforhope.com, we have an auction through Steiner Baldwin selling T-shirts for us. You can donate right there, and there's still tickets for our event on August 22nd, and all the information's there right on our website.
We're chatting with Erin Robertson, the wife of Yankees relief pitcher David Robertson. Their foundation, High Sox for Hope, benefiting tornado victims in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, with Casey Kochman at the plate. And the Yankees leading the Rays 7-2. Johnny Damon scoring on the Ben Zobrist ground out. Here's the 2-0 to Kochman. Now take us back to early July when David was named as a replacement to the All-Star team. I guess that was a whirlwind couple of days for you.
Yes, we were very excited about that. But it was a lot of fun going to Arizona.
called into the game in the second inning.
Yes,
Unusually, huh?
That was a big surprise for all of us, including David.
I guess planes, trains, and automobiles on Monday in order to get out to Phoenix for the All-Star game.
Yes, yeah, it was kind of crazy getting out there, but we did it.
There's the website, highsoxforhope.com. Log on for more information. And you can also follow Aaron on Twitter at
erob3.
erob3.
David's drob30.
drob30. There you go. Tim will be right on it. You were a good luck charm for the Yankees. You were here in the booth with us. Jorge Posada hitting the grand slam during the last half inning.
I know. I should sit here more often.
And now Kochman rounds out to Cano. Aaron, thanks for joining us. Congratulations on all the success you guys have had with the foundation, and enjoy the benefit on August 22nd.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
The Rays 7-2. Cesar Ramos, the third Rays pitcher of the afternoon, making his 47th appearance this season, but the first since his latest recall from AAA Durham on Sunday, when the Rays placed Alex Cobb on the 15-day disabled list. Ramos facing Curtis Granderson, who led off the fifth inning with a solo home run. Yankees would bat around in the fifth, scoring 5 runs on 5 hits, including Jorge Posada's 10th career grand slam. Granderson with a base hit into right field, his second hit today. So the leadoff man is on for the Yankees here in the 6th. Well, in 3 weeks, college football comes to FX. Gus Johnson and Charles Davis will bring you all the action, beginning in Norman, Oklahoma, where the #1 ranked Sooners host the upset-minded in-state rival Tulsa Golden Hurricanes. The FX Saturday college football game of the week, presented by Russell Athletic in high definition all season long, only on FX. Check local listings for the channel and start time in your area, and be sure to go to foxsports.com to check out Charles Davis's preseason power rankings. Charles, one of the top analysts in the world of college football. He has Oklahoma at number 1, followed by LSU, and then David Robertson's alma mater, number 3. And our thanks once again to Aaron Robertson, who joined us in the booth during the last half inning, as Teixeira rips this one to the wall in left center for extra bases. Here comes Granderson. He will score his second run of the game and his major league leading 107th run of the season. The Yankees now lead 8-2.
After a night where the Yankees lost to the Tampa Bay Rays, almost nothing going right for them last night. Almost everything is going right for the Yankees today. Mark Teixeira with RBI number 87 on the year, and Curtis Granderson, who leads the American League in runs scored, scores yet another.
Granderson now with 107 runs. Next in all of baseball is Jacoby Ellsbury of the Red Sox with 84.
Not even close.
First pitch to Robinson Cano, a called strike. Cano with 2 hits today, scored 2 runs. Granderson, a leadoff single. Leadoff man has reached for the Yankees in 5 of the 6 innings. Then a Teixeira RBI double. Now Robinson Cano with Nick Swisher waiting on deck. And that website once again, in case you missed it earlier, highsoxforhope.com. David and Aaron Robertson creating the High Sox for Hope Foundation to benefit the tornado victims in David's hometown of Tuscaloosa, Alabama. The event coming up 9 days from now, August 22nd. Southern Hospitality, 9th Avenue in New York City. The Robertsons hosting the event along with the Swishers. Terrific job by Major League Baseball and the MLB Players Association as well, as they donated $200,000 benefiting the victims in the Midwest and the Southeast.
Joplin, Missouri hit very, very hard earlier this year, along with Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Just horrible, horrible havoc wreaked in both of those cities.
Up the middle. Rodriguez from behind second throws out Cano. Teixeira moves to third. Well, Fox Sports is proud to support Stand Up to Cancer in their work to fund groundbreaking research that helps accelerate treatment to patients. Stand up for someone you love. Visit standuptocancer.org/Fox Sports to learn more. With one away, here is Nick Swisher. Swisher has walked twice. Came around to score back in the 5th inning. Yankees batted around in the 5th. They scored 5 runs on 5 hits, including the Posada grand slam. As the Rays will intentionally walk Swisher and pitch to Eric Chavez. Posada with the 6 RBIs, Tim. That's 1 shy of his career high. He drove in 7 runs in a game against Detroit back in September of 2003. He's come up twice with the bases loaded today and has driven in 6 of the 8 Yankee runs. His 4th 3-hit game of the season as Swisher heads to first.
I think if this were a closer game, Joe Girardi would use Eduardo Nunez in this spot and then keep Nunez in the game. Eduardo Nunez has given Joe Girardi and the Yankees a lot of options going into the postseason. If Posada reverts to his first half instead of what he's done during this game, you could start Nunez at third base and have Alex Rodriguez as your designated hitter against right-handed pitching. Certainly that would be more than a viable option against a left-hander, but it could also work against right-handers.
There's Nunez in the Yankee dugout.
Eduardo Nunez has shown he is a very good player.
Rays unable to turn 2. Teixeira scores. Yankees now lead 9-2. What a day for Jorge Posada. 2-run single in the second inning, driving in the first 2 runs of this game, and then his 10th career grand slam off Brandon Gomes in the 5th. On a day that started with the Yankees honoring his best friend Derek Jeter prior to the start of today's game for his 3,000th hit just over a month ago against these same Rays. Posada coming through in a huge way. Posada's home run in the last inning. His first homer since the 29th of June against Milwaukee. Posada now batting right-handed against the left-hander Ramos.
And Jorge has not thrived right-handed this year, batting only 103 against left-handed pitching.
6 hits in 58 at-bats. And he is called out on strikes. We'll return to Yankee Stadium after these messages from your local Fox station. Presented by Gillette Fusion Pro Glide. Kenny Albert, Tim McCarver, Ken Rosenthal, Chris Rose from Yankee Stadium. Yankees leading the Rays 9-2. Corey Wade, the right-hander, on in relief of Phil Hughes, who went 6 innings. Wade making his 20th appearance of the season. He began the year with the Rays AAA affiliate in Durham. He was signed by the Rays as a minor league free agent last November, was released by the organization on June 12th, and signed a minor league contract with the Yankees the next day. Made his Yankee debut June 15th. B.J. Upton, left field. On the edge of the warning track, it's Brett Gardner, one away. Time now for the Just for Men Keep Your Edge spotlight. Two guys we talked about during our open, Tim. Jorge Posada and Phil Hughes have given the Yankees the edge today. You too can keep your edge with Just for Men mustache and beard.
We went in and talked to Joe Girardi, as we always do, both managers actually today. Brian Cashman, the general manager of the Yankees, was there. And there's a saying in baseball that players can make decisions for general managers and managers very difficult or very easy. And if Phil Hughes and Jorge Posada have many more days like today, the decisions about the postseason will be made very easy for the Yankee hierarchy.
Posada driving in 6 runs, including a grand slam. Hughes allowing 2 runs in 6 innings. Joyce, right field. Swisher started back. Heads in and makes the catch. For Phil Hughes, Tim, it's the 3rd consecutive start in which he went 6 innings and allowed no more than 2 runs. Back on July 27th against Seattle, 2 runs in 6 innings. His next start, August 2nd against the White Sox, no runs in 6 innings. 2 runs in 6 innings today, as Wade retires the Rays in order. On 7 pitches, Rodriguez flies out to Gardner. Is sponsored by Michelin, a better way forward. By DirecTV, now get DirecTV's best offer of the year. And by Travelers, insurance for auto, home, and business. Yankees getting the job done at home today as the fans collectively sit down following the 7th inning stretch. Yankees leading the Rays 9-2 after the Rays hit 5 solo home runs last night off CC Sabathia. Following tomorrow's game, the Rays will head on the train up to Boston for a 3-game series with the Red Sox. We mentioned they will be wearing 1950s era hats. And for more on the Rays travel, we send it down to Chris Rose.
Yeah, Kenny, the Tampa Bay Rays and Joe Madden, their manager, they like to theme it out on a lot of trips throughout the 2011 baseball season, so they'll be wearing the 1950 fedoras on the train up to Boston. But earlier this year, up in Seattle, what kind of look do they go with? None other than the grunge look. I mean, a bunch of guys really got into it in the flannel. They stole a bunch of shirts from Kenny Albert's closet, apparently. And then when they were in Anaheim and taking a red-eye out to Baltimore, what do you do on a plane? You got to sleep, so you got to put on the jammies. I don't know where in the world David Price found a 6'5" onesie, but he found it, guys.
They stole my pajamas too, Chris.
Yeah, apparently so. I love the way, though, Joe Madden just keeps things nice and loose.
He really does. He's got a great way of communicating to younger players. I mean, Joe Madden, and we didn't find that out until this morning, that he went to school, was in the same class as Rudolph Giuliani's wife, Judith, back in Hazleton, Pennsylvania. And Joe's mom works
in the third base dugout. We saw Joe in the third base dugout here at Yankee Stadium as Russell Martin grounds out. His mom, Beanie, Joe Madden's mom, Beanie, 77 years of age, a waitress at the third base dugout restaurant in Hazleton, but she has the day off today. She was planning on watching the game.
That's exactly right. So Joe wants to say hello to his mom, Beanie, watching in Hazleton, which is also the hometown of Jack Palance, the late Jack Palance.
Joe not having as much fun in the third base dugout here as his mom has in the third base dugout in Hazleton.
Yeah. Joe had a lot more fun last night in the third base dugout here at Yankee Stadium.
You know, we've referred throughout this telecast to the 5 home runs allowed by Sabathia, the 5 allowed by Carlos Zambrano of the Cubs in Atlanta last night. It was only the second time, Tim, in Major League history, second time ever, that 2 Major League pitchers allowed 5 home runs in a game in the same day.
That's remarkable.
Back in 1996, Jeff D'Amico of Milwaukee and Dave Tailgater of Oakland allowed 5 home runs on the same date. Happened again last night with Sabathia and Zambrano.
And nobody knows where Carlos Zambrano is put on the restricted list. And, you know, when you think about Carlos Zambrano, I mean, unlimited chances are not enough.
Ramos covering. Beats Gardner to the bag for out number 2. Time for another DirecTV game break with Chris.
Guys, Josh Hamilton may not be able to see at the plate during the day, but in the field he's just fine. Ryan Sweeney, the ace with the shot, and look at Hamilton. That's almost Raider-like in Oakland. Koji Uehara loves it. Rangers lead at 5-1 in the ninth. Remember, to see every baseball game, the most in HD, it's 1-800-DIRECTV. I'm sure Al Davis saw that, and he said, he's got speed. Let's sign him, baby.
Just win, baby, and the Texas Rangers are winning, Tim.
I was corrected by the truck. It's the disqualified list on which Carlos Zambrano is on. But again, I mean, I was thinking about it coming to the ballpark today. I mean, how many times has Carlos Zambrano been given time after time after time to straighten that pathetic act of his up? And now it's caught up to him. I mean, a guy who's owed $22 million by the Chicago Cubs. Where is the responsibility? My gosh.
On the disqualified list without pay, although he plans to appeal through the Players Association. Remember, he attended anger management last year. On a more positive note, in Atlanta last night, prior to the game, in which Zambrano allowed the 5 home runs, Bobby Cox's number 6 was retired by the Atlanta Braves as Jeter whips one into right field for a base hit. His second hit today, number 3,036 in his career. So congratulations to Bobby Cox as we take another look at the Jeter base hit.
Well, in fairness to Matt Joyce, the right fielder, he did slip, and it's also getting twilight time here at Yankee Stadium, so it's a little tougher to see. Bobby Cox called last night the happiest day of his life. What a monument to excellence with the Atlanta Braves. 15 division titles during his reign. He also won with the Toronto Blue Jays in 1985. Was one victory away from going to the World Series, up 3-1 over Kansas City, but it was not to be.
And a former New York Yankee.
Oh, yeah. I mean, throughout baseball, you know, fans and players alike universally happy for number 6.
Also in Atlanta last night, Dan Uggla extended his hitting streak to 32 games.
Did it in a big way with 2 home runs, too.
Now 1 and 2 on Granderson. How about this, Tim? The last 11 streaks of 30 or more games, hitting streaks, have been by National Leaguers. The last 11.
That's good. I did not know that.
The last American leaguer to hit in 30 or more consecutive games, Eric Davis of the Orioles back in 1998.
The odd thing about Dan Uggla's hitting streak, 32 games going into tonight's game against the Cubs. The longest streak this season, the only other 30-gamer, Andre Ethier of the Dodgers. Longest in Atlanta Braves history. And it raised his average, get this, from 173 to 229.
Incredible. And he's hit 26 home runs.
Yeah.
Payoff pitch to Granderson. Missing high and away, ball 4. So the Yankees with runners on first and second with 2 outs. Well, this is your football season. Create your fantasy football team today at foxsports.com. Fox Fantasy Football is brand new and better than ever. Play today at foxsports.com/fantasy. 2 NFL games this week on Fox.
And we had one last night. You're my hero, man. I'm telling you. Well, you do the game last night on Fox. Washington against whom?
Well, Tampa Bay and Kansas City were on Fox. I was in Washington for a Redskin game.
Oh, right.
But
okay.
I will be working the game on Fox this Friday.
Yeah, okay.
Down in Jacksonville.
All right, now I got it right. But I mean, you've been traveling for 3 days, right?
You've done worse. 9-2 Yankees. Welcome back to Fox Saturday Baseball, presented by Gillette Fusion Pro Glide. Top of the 8th inning here at Yankee Stadium. Phil Hughes, the Yankee starter, allowing only 2 runs in 6 innings. Jorge Posada back in the Yankee lineup. Has driven in 6 runs. Hit a grand slam back in the 5th inning, 10th of his career. Robinson Chirinos, shallow center. Cano's got it, 1 away. Well, we mentioned him during our open. Rays coming into this game 7.5 out in the wild card. And Joe Madden said we have to make up 1 game a week. And you talked about their tough schedule with the 17 games remaining against the Yankees and the Red Sox. A loss today, and they will be back to 8.5 behind the Yankees in the wild card race.
Realistically, it's very, very difficult for the Rays. I mean, they were stripped of their players over the offseason through trades, free agencies. Carl Crawford going to the Red Sox, Matt Garza being traded, Carlos Pena, the fine first baseman, power hitting for the Cubs now, not the Rays. And to do as well as they've done, I think, is a tribute to some very smart people down in Tampa Bay and St. Petersburg. They know what they're doing.
What an accomplishment, the fact that the Rays, in a division with the Yankees and the Red Sox, have won the American League East 2 of the last 3 seasons.
I know.
They finished with the best record in the American League last year with 96 wins. Lost to Texas in the AL Division Series. Trail this game 9-2 as Johnny Damon fouls it back, with Desmond Jennings on at first following his 2nd hit today. Desmond Jennings, a big part of the future of this franchise.
I mean, you get to a World Series in your first 11 years with what the Tampa Bay Rays have had to work with. That's pretty good.
After finishing in last place 9 of their first 10 seasons.
Right.
Johnny Damon among the active career leaders in so many different categories. In fact, and there are so many different stats out there, different ways to look at guys' careers, but if you take these 5 categories: 100 career triples, 200 home runs, 500 doubles, 2,500 hits, as the ball squirts away from Martin Jennings to second. Those 4 categories, Damon is one of 11 players who have reached all of those marks, and the other 10 are Hall of Famers.
Well, you know, if he plays another 2.5 or 3 years, he'll have 3,000 hits. If he plays on anywhere near a regular basis.
Damon down on strikes. We'll head down to Ken Rosenthal. Ken, what do you think? You're on the Hall of Fame voting committee. Will Damon have a chance?
He'll have a chance, Kenny, and his case is mounting. 314 hits short of 3,000. And as Tim said, if he plays a couple of more years, as he intends to, he'll have a shot. But it's interesting, talking to him yesterday, he said that the one stat that he really is most proud of is runs scored. And he's creeping up that career list as well and starting to pass some really big names.
And remember his triple, Tim, back in the 6th inning.
Sure.
Had he stopped at second, he would have passed Babe Ruth on the all-time doubles list.
Yeah.
They are tied with 506 career doubles. But he kept going.
You know what? If I were tied with Babe Ruth, I'd never want to hit another double. I'd stop at first or go to third.
Which he did.
I mean, if I could tell my grandchildren I was tied with Babe Ruth in anything, I would never want to ever do anything to break the tie. What's the sense in it? Come on.
They have something else in common.
What's that?
Championships with the Red Sox and the Yankees.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Quick work by our director, John Moore.
A Ruthian statistic.
Two and two on Longoria. 2 outs, top of the 8th inning. In a 9-2 game. Up the middle. Terrific play by Wade. And we head to the bottom of the 8th here in Yankee Stadium. Multivitamin of Major League Baseball. And by MasterCard, asking you to eat, drink, and be generous this summer. Yankees leading the Rays 9-2 as we move to the bottom of the 8th inning here in the Bronx. 4th pitcher of the game for the Rays is 32-year-old right-hander Juan Cruz, after Ramos pitched the last 2 innings. Cruz making his 42nd appearance. There's Reed Brignac now in the game at shortstop as Sean Rodriguez moves over to second. Robinson Cano leading off for the Yankees. New center fielder as well, Sam Fuld, replacing B.J. Upton.
I think home plate umpire Tom Hallian wants to check with Joe Madden and find out where that's wrong. The scoreboard is wrong. He's got Fuld in center field and Brignac at shortstop. It's a matter of where they're hitting, and that's what Hallian wanted to correct.
The 4th spot in the order will lead off in the 9th. So Tom Hallian checking with
I think Full's in that spot, Kenny.
So Fuld 4th, Brignac 6th.
Right.
Fastball missing away. 1-1. Tremendous job by our entire crew today here at Yankee Stadium, led by producer Kara Langley McDermott, our director John Moore, Associate Director Kathy Hunt. Broadcast Associate Eric Mandia. Pre-game show produced by Don Bowie. Marty Aronoff crunching the numbers along with Wayne Fiddleman and Dave Schwabe. Thanks to our entire crew on a Saturday afternoon in the Bronx. The Yankees scored 2 in the second inning. Jorge Posada with a bases loaded 2-run single. Curtis Granderson a leadoff home run in the 5th. 5 batters later, Posada hitting his 10th career grand slam. He's driven in 6 today in his return to the Yankee lineup after sitting out the last 5 games. And Phil Hughes, the Yankees starter, allowing 2 runs on 4 hits in 6 innings. Rays scoring both of their runs in the 6th. Derek Jeter honored prior to the game for career hit number 3,000. Cano down on strikes, 1 away. Next week on Fox Saturday Baseball, the NL Central leading Brewers hit the road. They'll be here in New York to take on the Mets. Tim, you will be on hand at Citi Field. Cardinals will battle the Cubs. Reds take on the Pirates. Next week's telecast of Fox Saturday Baseball presented by Gillette. Fusion Pro Glide begins at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific. Check local listings for the game and start time in your area. Here's Nick Swisher, who has walked 3 times today and also struck out back in the 3rd. And Ken Rosenthal, Nick, has been pretty busy off the field as well.
His album, Believe, currently the number 4 children's release on iTunes, down from number 3 last week. Now, Barry Zito and Bernie Williams played guitar on the album, but guys, how is this for buttering up the commissioner? Bud Selig's granddaughter was among a group of children who sang backup vocals on the album. Now, part of the proceeds from the album go to Swish's Wishes, that's Swisher's Foundations for Children with Health Issues.
All right, thanks, Ken. So Nick Swisher taking a page out of your book, Tim.
Yeah, I don't know about that. But
how many albums did you sell?
If I knew that Bud Selig's granddaughter were available, I would have had her for backup on my CD.
You missed the boat.
Yeah, I did.
Maybe next time. Swisher down on strikes. 2nd consecutive strikeout for Juan Cruz. Well, Tim, the Yankees recently held their 3rd annual Hope Week. Hope standing for helping others persevere and excel. There's Derek Jeter. All of the Yankee players and coaches took part as the club sent the message that everyone can give of themselves to make their community a better place. Eric Chavez with a base hit into center field. And the Yankees Foundation donated $10,000 per day during Hope Week to various nonprofit organizations.
That's very nice. Very nice.
So a great job by the Yankees over the last 3 years. We told you about David and Aaron Robertson, the High Sox for Hope Foundation. Another big hand for Jorge Posada.
I guess you can put a caption on today's game that hope springs eternal.
For the 39, soon-to-be 40-year-old Yankee designated hitter. He'll celebrate a birthday this coming Wednesday. Batting left-handed once again against the right-hander Juan Cruz. Posada called out on strikes when he faced the lefty Ramos his last time up. 3 for 3. A home run, 6 runs batted in. Over his first 3 at bats, and then struck out in the 6th. Fouls out to Longoria. We head to the 9th. What a day for Jorge. Proud to support youth baseball across the country. And by Burger King and the all-new BK Burger and Chicken Minis. 9th inning of the Bronx. 9-2 Yankees. Our Burger King mini moment. Phil Hughes, the Yankee starter. 6 innings, allowed only 2 earned runs. We talked about how important this start was for Phil Hughes in our open as the Yankees try and solidify their rotation. Terrific job by Hughes. Hector Noesi, the 3rd Yankees pitcher of this game, facing Reed Brignac, who is batting in that number 4 spot. Brignac batting just .193 this season. Fouls it back to the screen. New second baseman for the Yankees as well. Eduardo Nunez in the game, replacing Robinson Cano.
Now, Kenny, when you look at the Yankee bullpen, it's not inconsiderable to think that they can carry only one left-handed pitcher. Remarkably, you talk about an organization knowing their guys. They have a lot of right-handed pitchers that are very effective against left-handed hitters. That's why Boone Logan, for the most part, has been the only left-handed pitcher for the Yankees all year that they've carried. And to think that they could do that in the American League East with teams like the Red Sox, with all of those powerful left-handed hitters that they have. Adrian Gonzalez, Jacoby Ellsbury, David Ortiz.
And a happy birthday to Boone Logan, celebrating his 27th today.
Right. Right.
The only left-hander in the Yankee pen. Payoff pitch to Brignac, fouled off. Rays won last night's game. The series opened at 5-1 thanks to 5 solo home runs off CC Sabathia. Yankees coming back in a big way today. Jorge Posada driving in 6 of the 9 Yankee runs. Brignac down on strikes. The second part of our Burger King mini moment. We told you about Phil Hughes, who allowed only the 2 earned runs in 6 innings. Scattered 4 hits, struck out 5. In line for his 3rd win of the season and his first win at home since last October. And Jorge Posada with his 6 runs batted in provided 2 other big moments for the fans here at Yankee Stadium. Casey Kotchman 0 for 3. Hit one of those 5 Rays homers last night. Has not gotten the ball out of the infield today. On the ground to the right side, this is Nunez. And the Rays are down to their final out.
Super Sam. Talk about a cult figure in the Tampa Bay area in St. Petersburg. You're going to love this. 1, 2, 3, probably the best. I mean, this guy, they love him in the Tampa Bay, St. Petersburg area. Talk about the overachiever of overachievers, Sam Full. Joe Madden calls him everyman.
We also loved him at Stats Inc., now Stats LLC, the company that provides our statistical information and research. Sam Fuld was an intern at Stats Inc. back in 2005.
How about that? He's a very bright young man. Went to Exeter Prep School, one of the best prep schools in the country. Stanford graduate. Met his wife Sarah at Exeter. She was a lacrosse player who made a lot of catches like this.
But not with a mitt.
No.
Sam Fuld flies out to Curtis Granderson. Jorge Posada, the hero here at Yankee Stadium, as he drives in 6. Hit his 10th career grand slam back in the 5th inning. Yankees win it 9-2 over the Rays. We'll be back.